episode of Vendetta Online. Today we're going to be showing you the in and outs of queen hunting. So, first, we need to turn our HUD back on.
Yes.
And to much people's dismay, I do play in third person. So, one of the essentials is being able to actually buy a Ragnar. Doesn't really matter if it's Mark 1, 2, or 3, but as long as you can buy a rag. Once you can buy a rag, that's Combat 4, Heavy License 1, you're also going to need some Chaos Swarms, which is Heavy 7. Once you've acquired all that, it's not a requirement, but it does help if you equip 3 Gemini homing missile launchers. I don't do that. I use, as you'll see later, I use neutrinos instead. But as a starter, you should use those and fast charge cells. So once you've purchased all of that, it should automatically equip to your ship if you've purchased your ship first. So we come over here to our configure ship menu, click on groups. What you would like to do is make sure that they're all assigned to a group. If you use various chain fire plugins like I do, I get to go through and toggle on all 3 keys, but you should be fine with just key 1. So usually your small ports become your primary trigger, and your large ports become your secondary trigger. I like to just cram everything on all, just so when I hit the button initially, they all just fire the exact same target at the same time without having to click multiple buttons. So that's the primary requirements for queen hunting. It's not required to have a capital ship to do this. You can just bounce back and forth between the station, but it does go significantly faster if you can repair a capital ship. Whether it's yours or a friend's, it doesn't matter. So, first roll, because especially if you're new at this, you're probably going to die, you want to set your home station. Now, what I've done is I've got a Hog 2 with fast charge, so this ship will build a turbo indefinitely. I throw in a cargo scanner, just so I know when the bots are about to jump out. It's not a requirement, but whatever. What you're going to want to do is find a sector that only has, on your note section you see bots sighted. You're going to want to find a simple bot sector like Dentek Collector, for example, or Orin Collector. And you're just going to want to jump to one of those. Of course, you get the occasional storm, but whatever.
This is your sector.
Oh, Lord. Right, so we will change to K8, because we don't want to queen in or find bots in the middle of an ion storm. So once you jump in, you kind of want to keep your distance at first. Let them all go to the rocks they're going to go to. So what collectors do is they go to a specific asteroid or ice crystal, and, well, they mine. What else are they going to do? Just let them settle in. Because if you get too close to any collector, they tend to get aggressive and, well, attack. And what we're going to do is once they settle in and get all cozy, we're going to target one that is mining and basically just watch him. So as you can see, using cargo scanner, we're at 1300 meters. You can see that he's collecting cargo, ore. I don't recall at this time what their cargo space is, but do this 1 or 2 times, you'll learn that yourself. And you just sit back and watch until it's about that time. So we're just gonna sit here for about 8 minutes. That's how long usually it takes for collectors to mine their ores. And once they start moving, I will restart the recording. Alright, so as you can see, we're at how many ores? 29 ores. So their cargo capacity is probably 30 for an ore collector. Now all you're gonna do is literally just follow them out. Make sure when they jump that you're within 1,000 meters, otherwise you won't know where they went. A lot of people tend to want to destroy them while they're mining and not understand why they're not jumping. It's because they're respawning and they have to start mining all their ores again. In this process, while they're jumping out, they won't attack you. If you want, you can go ahead and kill 7 of them and leave the last one to jump, but we're not doing that right now. Okay, so we jump to K1. So normally now I would be going back to grab my rag, but just to show what's up. So that would be your queen. Now when you jump in here, it doesn't happen. No, it happens. I would say about 95% of the time, unless there's a bug, in which case some of these bots will not actually attack you. Normal behavior is them being very aggressive, like they are right now. So when you jump in here, you're gonna have some pretty hostile enemies. There's multiple ways you can go about dealing with these guys. You could straight up dogfight with them if you want. Or you can take the less strategic way and just go grab your bomber and make multiple bomb runs, just destroying all these escort. Which brings us to our next step, popping the escort. So, what I'm going to do is grab our Golly, which not everybody has access to, so you would normally go back to the station, grab your rag, and jump back to the Queen sector. Here, what I'm about to do is what we call vectoring. Basically, the queen sector is here. You don't want to jump into the queen sector, and I'll show you why once we've destroyed the escort and the shields. Queens can be very dangerous when it comes to cap ships. But what we're going to do is jump one sector to either side. Because it's at the top of the map, you can't jump above, so it's to the right or the left. So I'm going to jump to L1 first, and then I'm going to jump to J1. What this does is when you jump from K1 to J1, you're vectored, so you're aiming at your capital ship's dock. And of course, sometimes you're going to hit asteroid fields that aren't actually marked. Alright, so now we're vectored. Now, to make it easier on yourself and your fellow bombers, tilt your nose a little bit down. If you've flown cap ships for a minute now, you've probably already figured this out, but just in case. And I won't be using the cap ship through the whole video, just for new players who may not actually have cap ships. I'll go ahead and run to a station a couple times. I can't actually go here. This would be perfect for most people, but there's a mission tree that for the Valiant that kind of may ruin your standings, so I can't actually go to that station. But what we're gonna do is just click back and forth here a couple of times, and just make a couple bomb runs, destroy the escort. So your main target are going to be overseers or guardians at first. They deal the most damage. You can forget on your initial bombing runs if you want. You can forget assaults and definitely the observers, since observers don't actually do anything to you. And I would not recommend dogfighting in a bomber, but and watch out. Usually two bots will attack you at the same time. So when you kill one, watch out because another one's going to be heading your way. So let's jump back to our station to reload. So there's an initial mission that talks about destroying a queen. Not 100% sure what that mission's called right now,
The Rogue Queen.
but that mission is not doing what we're doing here. All you do in that mission is destroy a couple of escorts, 2 or 3 escorts, and then a team of bombers will jump in and annihilate the queen for you, basically. This is you doing all the work yourself. So, obviously, it's pretty decently easy to dodge incoming fire. Just strafe and roll if you have to. So, once you've destroyed all the escort, whether it be by dogfighting or bombing or doing whatever it is you did to destroy all the escort, you're gonna move on to your next step. Deshielding and then killing the queen. There, as with destroying the escort, are also multiple ways to deshield the queen. But the most common is bombing it. So, what you're gonna do, there's 2 ways to do this. One, you can be facing your target. So let's find a target. Be facing your target and basically just hovering at 80 meters a second. And once you hit that 1600 meter mark, fire missiles. Or you could do what I like to do. Let's see here. Let's find the target. It's not 500 million miles away. When you're turboing towards your target, once you hit 1600 meters, you fire your missiles, you put on your brakes a little, and then you just follow your missiles. Now, a queen will be moving around and such, so it'll be a little bit more difficult, but still. With the queen, your missiles may not be enough if you didn't stack right, so once they're about to hit, you also fire with your main gun. That's just the way I go about doing it. Alright, so we jump back into our queen sector to deshield it. So, doing it live is a little bit trickier because the queen does continue to move. Eventually you'll get a knack for it, so don't feel bad if you miss your first couple of times. So, a lot of the time, when she stops turboing like she did, she's heading the other way, which is actually a perfect time to start your bomb run. See, I didn't fire the guns. Normally you don't have to, but this is going into what I was saying earlier, that you don't necessarily need to use Gemini, but using Gemini does help extremely, especially when you're new to this.
Forgot I had put those on my primary.
But now, once the queen's deshielded, you can go ahead and continue using your bomber if you want. Going back, reloading, swapping your ship to a fighter, coming back using just energy weapons. However it is you would like to destroy the queen. There is one thing I have to mention near the end, and that's the explosion. When you get, especially when you're in a group, when you get down to about 4 to 7%, depending on your vessel, and eventually you'll be able to figure out which vessels can sustain the hyperdrive explosion of the queen. You're going to want to pull back to about 500 meters. The explosion, that's how large the explosion is 500 meters. But normally in newer groups, what they do is once it's at about 4%, they start backing off around 10%, and a bomber comes in and starts just shooting missiles at it. All you will get a point for killing the queen, but like now, for example, the new players would pull off. If you're in a vulture or any small like ship like that, you're dead if you're caught within the blast range. Like our bombers here, we can be right up on it and still not actually blow up. But so what you do is you just, now is poor timing, but when she stops turboing, you just fire all your missiles and pull back basically, so that their hyper explosion doesn't actually kill you. So like right now, if I was in a vulture, I'd be dead. Now, not all the time, queens drop rare items like queen cores, hive posies, or queen gats. Those are all very good drops. I would recommend you pick those up. But that's the main way how you kill queen. In a second, we'll cut to an energy D-shield, which is how you go about, usually can go about de-shielding queens in groups. So once you've found a sector that holds a queen, you're going to go and grab your energy ship. Usually this takes a group, 2 or 3 people depending on the ships.
Been turboing.
Usually the teams tend to go towards rags with heavy cells, but the more people you have, the more variety of ships and weapons you have access to. So we already have one person coming in a pretty beastie ship right now. Oh, and we still have to kill the escort. And then, as before, you're just gonna continue flying back into the sector and destroy the entire escort, and then we'll come back. So once you've successfully destroyed the escort, and once your entire team's ready, all you're gonna do is just get within range, closer than 500 meters, usually, and at the same time, the entire group just shoot at the queen to overload the shields. It's nothing really impressive, but are we doing the front or the back?
You're supposed to do the following queen because otherwise she'd start shooting
I'm
at
asking.
you.
Okay. We are so uncoordinated right now. I wasn't expecting him to get bashful.
What even is coordination?
Okay.
Yes, shift is completely my turbo button.
It's far more effective than bombing.
That took a chunk out of her shield.
And yeah, that's the basics of queening.
Woohoo, now I'm on fire.